Good morning. I think I'm going to make this a learning to pray moment. I've been doing these healthy mindset updates, and but I think this one will fit better under the category of learning to pray. I've been on this journey of learning to love myself. I realized a couple years ago that I don't really love myself, and therefore have a difficult time loving others the way they want to be loved, maybe even the way they deserve to be loved when it comes to my spouse and my kids and friends and family. And it was a pretty powerful discovery, sort of the day that it happened. I won't go into it. I'm not going to tell that story. On the weekend, I was at a friend's church, and he interviewed me about contemplation, and seems like I wept through the whole thing. I cried the whole time. I couldn't speak without getting choked up. That's a better description of what actually happened. And anyways, during that talk, I mentioned that how I believe that God allows us to have a love wound, that we're actually all created with a love wound. And someone asked me about it later, because it is a confusing term, and maybe a simpler way to say it is just that we all want to be loved. We're all created for love. That's kind of a given, isn't it? And unfortunately, I think there's two sides of it. The good side of it, let's say there's a light and a dark side of it. The dark side of it is a lot of the things that we turn to for love aren't the things that are going to help heal that wound, which I don't think is ever totally healed. But, you know, it is a lot like the old song, looking for love in all the wrong places. And I won't list the ways in which we do that, or I do that, but we do that. We run from love. I think love is always available. If you don't have a spiritual background, I think you can intentionally love yourself. And if you do have a spiritual background, I think you can do both. I think if you open yourself up to love, it's always available from the divine. And that you can also, hopefully without sort of pushing the river, you can intentionally give yourself love as well. And I just want to share an exercise this morning. And I heard it from Tara Brock, and it's been tremendously love-giving to me. And it's simply just imagine someone who has loved you unconditionally. Sometimes it can be hard to think of someone who has done that for you. You know, in my case, someone who sprung to mind immediately was my spiritual director. I've been seeing him for a lot of years, and you know, every time I get to the door, he's there to greet me with open arms and a big smile on his face. And you know, there's been times where I've been embarrassed to tell him things, really intimate things, maybe some dark things, some dark ways in which I have looked for love. And you know, he's always accepting. He actually kind of prefers it when I tell him those things, rather than everything's bright and rosy. Not that he wants things to be dark, he just wants things to be real and honest. And I think he appreciates it when I'm that way. So my whole point is that he is someone that immediately sprung to mind because he's so open and accepting and caring, no matter what. And the picture I had was him greeting me at the door. Tara would encourage you to think of, if you can't think of a person, then think of, maybe a spiritual leader or someone else that you know, or even a family pet. It sounds crazy, but that one kind of made sense to me. I thought of our dog, Dobson, who was always so happy to greet us. Always, the picture I had was him up at the top of the stairs, greeting us. And so, what you can do with that is just rest in that love, rest in that care and acceptance. And then if you want, imagine giving it away. Give that away sort of in a prayerful manner to your family members, to your friends. I think love works best when it flows in and out, that we don't hoard love. I know love is a vulnerable subject. This is kind of going backwards, but we're encouraged to tell the truth and to be vulnerable. Brene Brown in her books and her videos are encouraging us to do that. And some of us have done that and been hurt. So this is really hard for us to even think about love or receiving love or being real like I was with my spiritual director. But I think even Brene, I know actually, I've heard her say this, Brene Brown would say, just, you don't have to be real and open and honest with everyone all the time. Wait until the situation just is totally right. I just felt like I had to mention that. So today, my commitment is to practice this. I'm going to rest in unconditional love. I'm going to receive it and I'm going to give it away. I'm even trying to do that right now as I'm speaking to you, whoever might be listening, whoever has hung on this long. I'm receiving unconditional, joyful, delightful love, and I'm releasing it, I'm giving it away, just throwing it out into the internet, into the ether waves. And I always immediately think of my family as well. My epiphany on that day when I realized that I don't really love myself was that I needed to learn to love myself. And so I've been on a journey to do that, and I'm progressing, but it's one of those things I don't think I'll ever arrive. I certainly have not arrived or anywhere close to it yet. All right, take good care. Know that you're loved. Bye.